Eric Muathe.com with another mentorship video. Let's take a look at current markets here, and I want to show you how I'm using stock charts to try and figure out what sectors I should pay more attention to. So number one, if you recall, we've been talking about the idea that we begin by taking a look at and trying to figure out where the general market is going. Once we figure out where we think the market is going, then we can go take a look at sectors. And once we find the sectors or the themes that are doing well or doing bad depending on market conditions, we can look for the sectors that we want to take a closer look into, and then we want to go find our individual names or individual stocks or ETFs. So in the current market situation, we are looking at the S&P 500 this past week, first week of January 2016, down about 5%, 6%. So really we are hard pressed to not even consider the bullish argument here, even if it is not out of the realm of possibility that the market could start inching backwards or inching higher, just like it did here. So we don't know that. Nobody, I don't want to say nobody, but most of us don't know where the market is going to go over the next couple of weeks, but we can assume that we are not going to fight the trend. So in our equation of trying to find the next candidate, of course, we can see that the M for market, or the general market, right now we are looking at general market pointing down. So clearly we have no option but to either consider getting out of the market, staying away from the market, but we did conclude that the best thing to do is probably have a small size position just for the sake of having an interest in the market. But because we were already expecting this drop before it happened, as it happened and before, we were already not long. So that's why I always say let's take a look at the general market first, and then I want to talk about the sector. And here I want to show you, which is actually the reason why I'm making this video, is the sector research that I'm doing this. So over the weekend, it's a Sunday, so I want to take a look at the sectors that are doing the worst, because if the market is bearish, we want to go and find the weakest sectors, because weakness begets weakness, and weak sectors have a tendency of dropping even faster and with bigger chunks when markets are dropping. And the same is true for bullish markets. Strong sectors just have a way of continuing to record higher and higher substantial moves higher. So even though one might think that the best thing to do in a down market is to find the strongest sectors during the upward trend, that's not the case. The best thing to do is find the weakest sectors in a bear market, and to find the strongest sectors in a bull market, because they tend to move in the direction which the general markets are already pointing to. So let's take a look here, and what I've done here is, if you take a look at the S&P 500, not the S&P 500, excuse me. What I want to do, let me take a step back here, and we're gonna go here, and for the sake of those who just want to know how I've done this, let's take a look here at stock charts, and I'm gonna try and, so what I've done is I've taken up, so if you go to sector summary on stock charts on the home page, click on that. I've come here, say about, I've taken this highlight here to about 6 months, so I take that 6 months option. In fact, let me change that. What I'm gonna do is gonna click on this right here for the complete industry listing. So we click on that. All right, so we got that. And so what stock charts gives you is this view here, where everything is broken down in sectors, like subsectors grouped in big sectors. Now let's go and take a look at a 6 month view. And one of the things that I don't like about the way stock charts have done, and I've tried to reach out to them to change this or give us an option where we can click on a button somewhere on this page, one option where we can view all these sectors in one complete list instead of where it's broken down into subsectors. Now that seems to be the right thing to do, but they just have not been able to do that. Maybe in time they will. Maybe we just need to be patient. Why should we be patient though? Anyway, so they've decided to split this in subsectors. It would make more sense if they just give us a complete list of what's performing and what's not. So I don't like the way they've done this. So what I've done is I've taken all this list, and the way I did that is I just highlighted all this list here, copied the lists into an Excel spreadsheet, and then from the spreadsheet I went ahead and just copied all the symbols. So I took all the symbols out of the group, all these sectors, and then made them into one list on my stock charts member list. So if you click on your members link, so let me show that again. For those of you who are used to this, you're like, this is so rudimentary, but I'm making this video just for the sake of anybody who is just trying to expand their use of the site. And so click on that, and then came here. You can create a new list. I've already done so. I've got lots of lists on this one here. So click on that list, and I made a sector, a list that has all my sectors. So I'll just click on that, and mine is right there. So 107 sectors or groupings. So I'll click on that. Let's click on, so 10 per page, and you can already see that I changed this so it can give me one of my chart settings. For me, the chart setting that I'm looking for is a 3-year monthly view. So 3-year monthly view on these charts, because I want to see the stocks and sectors that are breaking down. Once I figure out the sectors that are breaking down, then I can go and narrow down within the sector to find the weakest stocks, since it's a market that wants to go down. For now, I'm not looking for bullish ideas. I'm looking for ideas of stocks that could tank and move lower if the market continues moving low. Of course, we don't know if the market continues low. But the problem I ran into in page 1 is, since I'm looking for sectors that are, so let me just spend a second. I'm looking for sectors that are breaking down to 3-year lows on the RSI, and also 3-year lows on the MACD. And what I can see, because the market's been down substantially the last couple of weeks or months, net we can see 3-year move to 3-year lows, RSI moving to 3-year lows, so it meets the minimum requirement. You can also see that on this very fast sector that the price already broke down past 2015 monthly closing lows. So all the requirements for a down market are being met just by the fast sector. If I could stop here, and this is the US delivery services index, whatever that means, but so if I could go into this sector and try and figure out what this sector is and the stocks within it, maybe I can find some ideas. But the problem I ran into is, you take a look at all these sectors now. All this so the next one is the Dow Jones Asset Management Index, and take a look at the fact that RSI MACDs are 3-year lows. Here's another one about to move. This is a US Electronic Equipment Index, just about to move to 3-year lows. And generally what I'm getting at here is all these sectors are pretty much giving me a bearish market for each sector. So it becomes a little bit of a challenge. So which sector do I pick? So that's why actually I decided to make this video. Is so what I've decided to do in a situation like this, what anybody can do. So let's take a look here and change things a little bit. So what anybody can do in a situation where a lot of the sectors have the same look and feel is just try and be very picky. So the first thing I'm going to try and figure out here is, I want to find sectors that are breaking down below 50. So these are the main sectors, because the biggest move is going to be for stocks that move below 50 on their monthly RSI. For example, even here, moved below 50, you got this 2-month drop, which is what you want. So the RSI is going to help me narrow down. I'm going to find stocks whose charts are breaking down, and more so they are also just about to move below 50, because I want to capture that move below 50. So I want to short this right here before it moved below 50, somewhere there, because I want to be part of this move below 50. Also, I have an interest in stocks that are moving below 38.2 for the first time, just about to move, or just moving below 38.2 on their monthly RSI. Why? Because this is where they tend to really drop. In fact, if you go back and take a look at whenever a stock or a market crashes, it tends to be as it moves below 38.2 on its monthly RSI. So if you are looking to short stocks, you'd rather own a stock or a sector that is crashing, because that's where you get the biggest profit, logically, right? So I'm also be have an interest in sectors that are already trading below 30.90 on their monthly RSI. So because of all these sectors that I'm gonna be researching here are gonna have the same look and feel, I'm deciding to narrow it down more by taking a look at the sectors that are breaking below 30.90 or below RSI 50 or below RSI 38.2. That way I can at least have a less of a task trying to figure out which of the mountain of sectors can represent the ideas I bring forward to my subscribers. So now once I figure out what the group is, it's very easy, and so let's go back to that. So give me a second here. So once I figure out the couple of sectors that I want to take a look at, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to go back and check the stocks in that sector, and that you can do very easily. I guess you can, but I'll show you how I do it. So let's say the US delivery services is a sector of interest. I just go back to my stock chart. So I have a couple tabs open here, and I move back and forth. I don't mind doing this. I actually do enjoy doing this, to be honest with you. So I go back to that home page, and I'm just showing you a way I do it. There's many ways to do this. Come here, let's bring it down here. I'll click on this link right here, right there. So let's click on that, and then so I want a sector, specific sector. So what I'm gonna do is, I personally do it this way. Let me show you how I do it. I come here on Google Chrome, and I click on these three tabs here, and you can find out whichever way that makes sense to you. Click on that, and then I'm gonna go here to find. All right, oops, I clicked on print. Okay, so I'm gonna come here, click on find, and then I'm going to paste that sector that I already saw, and I can see the sector has been highlighted here. So it's broadcasting and entertainment. So I'll click on that, and so StockChart's going to give me the list of stocks in that sector. So here's a list of stocks, and so here's another thing that I think they should do on StockCharts is give us an option to view this in a simple way. So I find that I still have to export, so I highlight all this stuff here, and then I take it to a spreadsheet. It's kind of silly, but they should make it easy to where we can view all these stocks by way of the charts that we want to view it. So I copy that. Let me just show you how I do it. I come here on one of my charts here, or spreadsheets on Google Chrome. Control A deletes everything, and so let me just write that, because I did not know this stuff back in. So control, I click on my computer, control A selects everything. That is control A selects everything, which I've done that. And then I'm gonna do control V, which is old school. Let's get that off there, so bear with me, hope you don't mind. This could have been helpful for me back in the day, so I'm sure somebody might find use. So control V is always control paste. That's how I do it. So control V, paste all that stuff there. All right, so you can see all the ticker symbols are here on this column. Is it column or row? It's a column, or maybe it's a row. It's a column. All right, so I just take all this list here, and it's kind of silly, but that's how I'm forced to do it. Control copy to take that, so to copy that list. So I do CTRL C, which is for copy, and then I come back to my stock chart. It's kind of silly, as I said. It's silly the way we have to do it, because I think stock chart should make it to where we can view this without all these steps. Click on members there, and then I'll come and paste this on one of my links, so on one of my pages. So I'll come and take this, there's a one here that is, so here I'll click on edit, and then I'm gonna come down here and add symbols. So here, and I'm gonna click on the menu option, paste that. So I'm gonna paste, and then I'm gonna say click on add menu right there. So I'll click on that, see whether it works. Click on that, and so here we have it. So we have this list, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come down here on this list, and I'm gonna click on select all. Then I'm gonna scroll down a little bit more, and since I want to view this on a 3-year time scale, I'm gonna come here on my list of options. So let me see whether I can. So I'm gonna come see whether I can get that captured in the video here. So I'm gonna come here. There's an option here, list, and I'm gonna click on 3-year monthly, which is what I want, and then I'm gonna click on change, and that's gonna change all these stocks into that view. So let's go back here, and I'm gonna click on 10 per page, and there we have it. Right, so we have all this list of so all the stocks that I took from that sector are here, and I can view them. I can change the settings on this list to maybe dailies or weeklies or whatever you're looking at, and so from here I can find stocks within the sector that meet my parameters, and that's how I do it. Anyway, I hope that's helpful to somebody out there, and so that's how I do it. And sometimes you're forced to do this on a couple of sectors. Maybe you have a long list. I think StockCharts allows you to have about 500 stock symbols per list, so it's a lot of stocks that you can view at one time. And just so you go through all this list, and one by one you can find 1 or 2 ideas. Thing about it is, if you're trading as an individual account, you really don't have to have a million ideas. You want a couple of ideas that are working out in your favor, and that's all you need to do. For example, here we can see, just out of curiosity or out of just observation, there's one here that I'm noticing. It's breaking down below the monthly closing low for the last couple of months. We are looking at the RSI here is breaking to fresh 3-year lows, and we are also looking at the possibility that this can crack below 50. So this one has had a nice run. If it were to crack, it would have probably a bigger way to go before it can have a substantial pullback. And we're seeing that the MACDs, so you got your RSI meeting the minimum requirement, 3-year lows. You get your MACDs punching to 3-year lows also. So meets the minimum requirement. We can see that the MACD has not moved below 0, so you got opportunity to own this before it moves below 50 on the RSI, and before it moves below 0 on the MACD, which means you want to own them before they really have a substantial drop. As it moves below 0, it's going to have a substantial movement, and as it moves below 50, it's going to have another substantial movement. And also keep in mind that right now it is cracking below 61.8 for the first time in more than 3 years. So that's another number that I did not touch on. 61.8 is really 38.2, which I discussed. So pretty much the same thing, they're interchangeable. So as it cracked below 61.8 here, it is pretty much like cracking to fresh lows on a substantial. The stock has held above 61.8 over the last couple of years. Now it's moving below 61.8 for the first time. So it is actually doing a lot of breakdown. It is breaking down on critical levels. And so if I was looking for a stock to short, here's one that looks timely. In fact, I might even introduce it to my subscribers when I record a video here in a couple of hours after I have done my weekend research. EricMother.com. As always, good luck, peace, and blessings. EACS.